It's your official post-game show for suspended games in Big East basketball. Big East Shootaround is live from New York City. He's Jay Alter. I'm John Fanta, and let's get right to it. We go to Friartown for the highlights between Seton Hall and Providence, a game that started last night at the Dunkin' Donuts Center.
I'll tell you what, during the day basketball makes you think of March, but this is where it started last night. And really, both teams trading buckets early. The threes, that was the key for the Pirates to really gain control of this game.
Seton Hall's defense was there for the most part. Kyron Cartwright, though, willing the Friars. We turn to the second half. Desi Rodriguez leaving this game after slipping. And how about this shot?
4-point play for Cheese. Miles Powell getting it done for the Hall, but then with 13:03 left in the second half, conditions deemed unplayable in the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Ed Cooley, Kevin Willard, the officials deciding we'll pick this up tomorrow at Alumni Hall.
And for the first time in a Big East game, that's right, Alumni Hall hosting it. Providence and Seton Hall, and the Friars came ready.
They did. It was a big-time run by Providence. And how did Seton Hall weather the storm after the Friars cut it to one? The response, impressive.
And it was a big one as Cartwright getting the crowd fired up. Friars were within one, but then Kadeem Carrington, playing Providence this season, has brought the best out of Dino, the senior point guard, coming up huge. And the Pirates found a lot out about themselves. Miles Kale, the freshman, taking that next step. Seton Hall gutting out a quadrant one road win in two locations, but nonetheless, a win is a win, 89-77. And this could be argued as the most telling moment of the Pirates campaign, Jay.
When Providence cut it to one, Seton Hall showed, I think, their best version of themselves that we've seen from Seton Hall this season. I mean, the resiliency that it takes after you've had to play the game hours later. Providence at home in those tight arenas, you're going to get the crowd behind. It's going to be a difficult environment. Seton Hall played terrifically in the last 6 to 7 minutes of that game.
Could this carry them into March?
Absolutely. I think I tried to make the point earlier, when you have a game in the middle of the afternoon, it feels like March. That's really the only time you'll see college basketball on at noon is you think Thursday of March Madness. And guess what? Seton Hall had a Thursday of March Madness feel to them this afternoon, and they brought it. I think this absolutely will carry the Pirates right into March, and they are 100% in the field with this win. Seton Hall fans, don't worry about it. The sky is not falling. You've got a team that'll be dancing come March.
You're going to go as far as your seniors take you, and I think that the one play that illustrates what Seton Hall just did, they come right out on the inbounds pass, and they feed it to number 31, Angel Delgado, who racks up another double-double, and the Pirates find a way. And now there is an absolute logjam in the Big East as they move to 8-7 with St. John's up next. As we turn to our fastest 2 minutes in Big East hoops, cue the music and highlights.
This was a great one last night. Xavier and Georgetown, JP McCura in transition. You talk about how far seniors will carry you. Well, the Xavier seniors doing well. And then a freshman performance, Najee Marshall, career high 21.
On top of that, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals. The Lumberjack, Sean O'Mara, chopping it down, putting the dagger dunk in, and Xavier gets it done.
Seniors, the theme today in the senior class, 3 walk-ons for Jay Wright as the Wildcats hosted DePaul in Philadelphia. Eric Paschal, pick 6, throw it down, young man.
One punch man, and then this is so cool. Denny Grace.
He got it!
From downtown, and then Liebig, the fader, Jay. If only we could have that jumper. What a moment.
Jalen Brunson celebrating for his seniors. Big-time win for Nova. Marquette, Andrew Rousey from the parking lot.
Wow, have they rallied around Rousey and company with Marcus Howard down?
Absolutely. They're playing the hottest team in the Big East, longest win streak coming into the night, and it was all Marquette in Milwaukee. Second half surge.
How about this play?
Whoop!
Somehow the ball ends up in the Golden Eagles' hands, and then Mr. Hauser, this is his house. Sam drilling it, and in the alley-oop up top, Marquette. They're climbing back in. They're in the big dance picture. We'll see if they can keep it rolling.
We'll stay in the Midwest for a back-and-forth game. Oh, how about that throwdown?
Kyrie insanity. Kyrie Thomas flying high at Hinkle, but then...
It was all Butler, John.
Oh, yes, it was on senior night. The spin cycle from Kelan Martin, and then Weidman, the big cat. And then it's only fitting that Weidman gets the ovation, and then Kelan Martin says...
One more for good measure. Kelan Martin, so good for Butler on his senior night, and we caught up with the Butler senior. Here's our conversation.
He leads all of the Big East in scoring in conference play. It's Butler's Kelan Martin. He powered the Dogs past Creighton earlier this week on his senior night at Hinkle Fieldhouse. And Kelan, does it get much better than that? Your final act at Hinkle, a sensational performance?
Nah, not really. It was just a blessing and an honor, a pleasure just to play in front of these fans one last time, and just getting a win like that. It was a huge win for our team.
What would you say has been the biggest part of your improvement this season? You've put together such a great senior campaign.
Not just becoming a scorer, but being an all-around leader, because we got a lot of young guys on our team, and those young guys look up to me and Tyler Weidman, so we just got to embrace the leadership role, and then just finding teammates taking good shots in order for our team to get a victory.
You've played for multiple head coaches at Butler, but it seems like the Butler way just keeps rolling on. How would you define that, and what keeps it going?
Nothing really changes when we had coaching changes, so our system stayed the same, and give credit to Coach Holman, him stepping in and being a great coach, and then Coach Jordan, I give him all the credit. Him and the coaching staff, they came in and they didn't have to take us, but they did, and we accepted their coaching.
Why are you guys playing your best basketball this time of year?
We have to. We have no choice. If we want to go to the tournament and make it far, we got to get wins somehow. Just play as a team. And it starts in practice, being focused and locked in on the scouting reports. I think we've been doing that, and in our defense, we can't let our offense dictate our defense, because when our defense is on, our offense is rolling. We can get easy scores in transition, and then even when shots aren't falling, there's always other ways to step up.
Is there a turning point to this season that you point to, that along the way you felt like, okay, we're clicking now?
I think when we was on that 3-game winning streak, or 3 or 4 game winning streak, I think we were locked in, especially in practices. Just being focused, and then we wasn't really worrying about offense. We were worrying about our defense, and just walling up, making them score tough twos against us, and that's what our defense is all about, just making tough twos. And then Coach Jordan just he gives out good fire speech before each game. Just gets us ramped up, and it gives us energy and gives life on the court.
I was reading an article earlier this week about your friendship with Big Cat, Tyler Weidman, and the article said you guys never really talk about anything serious. So when you guys talk, what's being said?
Just random things. I can't explain it. It's random. Anything that pops up, anything that's on his mind, that's on my mind. Just nothing serious really. Just anything, movies, things like that.
I believe, have you guys been playing Fortnite at all?
Yeah. Me, him, and our other roommate, other 2 roommates, actually, we always play Fortnite in their room, and it's just something we do every night.
All right, who's winning? Who's winning these matchups? I know you're all out to get it, but who's the best?
Me.
I like that, Kelan. I like that. Big East tournament just around the corner. I talked to Coach Jordan just an hour ago, and he said it. You guys are tired of just being one and done at Madison Square Garden. Can you speak to what you're looking to do this year, and how you think you need to get over the top here in the Big East tournament to make something happen?
it's hard. All these teams are good in Big East in this conference from top to bottom. So I mean, we just gotta come out, just play our all, give it our all. Just give us life and energy. I think we got the talent to do that, and we got the skill set to do that as well. So I'm just looking forward to playing and getting the victory. Actually, having won a Big East tournament game since I've been here. So I think once we get that win, I think it'll ramp us up, and we could just, we could be scary going down the stretch.
What will determine how far this team goes? If there's something there about this group that you need to carry you forward to March?
Just staying locked in each and every day. We got 2 regular season games left right now, so we're focused on that right now, and just being locked in on scout reports and practice, like I said earlier. And once we do that, everything will take care of itself.
Before I let you go, I heard it was Mom's birthday earlier this week. So what did you do for Mom?
I sung for the senior night, so I had the whole crowd, fan base, just singing happy birthday to her. She's embarrassed, but I wanted to do that for her for my last home game here at Hinkle, and I gave her a card and some money as well. A card, 26 points, senior night W. She's got to be a proud mom. Kelan Martin, yeah. Keep it rolling. Congratulations. Good luck in the future. Thank you.
Jay, on the Big East Coaches Teleconference, I talked to Laval Jordan today, and I said, what has stood out the most to you about Kelan Martin? And you think elite bucket getter, right. Tremendous scorer. He said, his willingness to learn and his commitment to leadership this year, for me, has been the key. For a first-year head coach, it's so important to have the veterans who were under previous staff buy in. That's the name of the game, and Kelan Martin's done just that.
Well, the Butler way can't roll on unless you have veteran leadership that was there previously, and that's why Kelan Martin is so important to this Butler team, and a big reason the Bulldogs are now third. They were preseason number 8 in the Big East. Now they're third in the standings. Credit to Kelan Martin, Laval Jordan, and this Butler team for what they've done this season.
And they're presenting problems on the defensive end of the floor. That's the biggest team adjustment they've made as we continue here on Big East Shootaround. Submit your comments or questions here. Big East Tournament quarterfinal Thursday is exactly 2 weeks from now. So let us know here. Who you got winning the Big East Tournament? What's your favorite Big East Tournament memory? Feel free to comment below. You may just make the show as we continue into our fast break. And Swish was seeing cheese on Sunday at the Prudential Center. I'm talking about J.R. Smith and Miles Powell.
He's got a shirt on. We're not used to seeing J.R. like that, but the family connection there between Miles Powell and J.R. Smith, role model, big brother, family. Really cool.
And Miles Powell, that 3-point shot he made and nearly a 4-point play for him off the glass, that reminded me of J.R. Smith.
Well, actually, the way Miles Powell's been shooting the 3 as of late, not just on that shot, but he's really become Seton Hall's, I'd say, most consistent offensive threat.
Let's turn from that to the Marquette locker room. When you're down by nearly 20 and you come back in the second half and Omaha calls for a Gatorade celebration with your head coach, and the Golden Eagles are peaking at the right time.
What's so impressive is the Golden Eagles probably have their best back-to-back performances in conference play, and they've done it for the most part without Marcus Howard. Coach Wojo's got to be fired up that not only has his team gotten big-time wins this week, but they've done it rallying around their best player and leading scorer going down.
A big-time win for the Golden Eagles and a big-time game over this past weekend in Big East basketball. Maybe the most hyped game of the season in college hoops this year. Our cameraman Mitch McDowell and our great creator Ujash Patel present a little mini-movie of that top 4 showdown between Villanova and Xavier.
4. Broadway has moved to Cincinnati today for this huge Big East showdown.
Warriors on 3. 1, 2, 3. Warriors.
This is the one they've been waiting for. Lined up outside the Seton Center since before 8 o'clock this morning for a top 5 Big East matchup. Third-ranked Villanova comes to town to take on 4th-ranked Xavier. The highest ranked matchup in the Big East in almost a decade. Spellman against Cantor. And off we go from Cincinnati. First possession of the game. J.P. Makira got it. Who's passing again, kicks it. Now Gooden drives in behind the back, feeds up Merrill for the slam. Even Chubza looks to counter. You kidding me? Bounce for Spellman.
How did he see that?
Bridges for three. With a hand in the face, knocks it down. Bridges tries another three and hits another three. Bridges out of his mind. He sits down with 4 fouls with 13 plus left in this one. Blue to step back. Towing the tape too. Villanova comes up with it, and in transition, Gillespie. This time he connects. They take this one 95-79 and are 24-3.
Boy, a game played at a really high level at the Seton Center, and you will see those two teams at MSG for the Big East tournament. Both teams fighting for a 1 seed. We'll be joined coming up later in Shootaround by CBS Sports' Matt Norlander to get his take on how Xavier and Villanova will finish this regular season. But first, here's John Fanta's conversation with the great Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing, the Hoyas head coach, joins us now. And Coach, what has led to your team really progressing here at the right time of year?
Well, I just think that we're starting to grow up. You know, a lot of the games that we had lost early in the season, you know, we have starting to learn from that and mature. You know, those games were games that we should have won. We made mistakes going down the stretch when we were up big, and just could not secure the victory. And especially the last game, we were able to come up with the rebound, come up with the stops at critical points in the game.
What's life like coaching in the Big East Conference, night in, night out?
It's tough. You know, if you look at the Big East is a great conference. You know, from the top to the bottom, I think that everybody is equally matched. Even though, you know, we're at the bottom, and you know, you got all these guys at the top. And at any given time, the bottom teams can beat the top teams. And, you know, it's always going to be a dogfight every time you go into either go into their arena or they come to your arena. It's always going to be a dogfight.
Marcus Derrickson has really come on here as the season's gone along. He's got to be, I'm sure, in the conversation for some Big East honors, Coach. Make his case here from what you've seen from him and the way that he's progressed as the season's gone on.
I think he should be. He's playing extremely well for us. He's knocked down big shots, made big plays, secured big rebounds. He's been a force in the Big East, and I think that it's well deserved. He's done some remarkable things for us to get us to this point in the season.
Is it almost amazing to you? It seems like every game for you guys, most games throughout this conference slate, Coach, you're sitting down with your team, 2 minutes left to go in the game, drawing something up because it's a one-possession game.
That's just how it's been. You know, we don't have right now, we don't have the type of team where, you know, we're going to just give it to a guy and say, go get me 40 points. But, you know, we have a team we have a great defensive team. We have guys that play extremely hard together, and, you know, we're building something positive here. And we feel that, you know, we can beat anyone on any given night. And we just go out there and play hard. And hopefully at the end of the night, you know, when we look up at the scoreboard, that we're going to be the ones that are celebrating with a victory.
What's been your favorite part about this job in year one?
Just working with the kids, you know, you know, laying the foundation towards the future. Everyone has been, you know, pretty much listening to everything that myself and my coaching staff have been trying to implement. And, you know, we're just very anxious to see what this is going to look like in the near future.
I got to laugh, Coach. I heard you on the teleconference a couple weeks ago, and you were talking about St. John's fans. You talked to them, and what do they tell you again?
It's hard to hate me. It's hard to hate me because, they hated me when I played, and then after all the 15 years of being in New York playing for the Knicks, then they learned to love me, and now I'm back at Georgetown coaching. So it's tough to hate me.
I'll tell you what, Coach. St. John's is the story around the country right now. I'm just having some fun here with you. They've beaten Duke, they've beaten Villanova. They still haven't beaten those Georgetown Hoyas, though.
Well, Chris has done an outstanding job. They're a team that has a lot of talent, and I'm glad that they finally have been able to get it going. I just hope that we don't play them in the Big East tournament. They go ahead and be in the other side of the bracket. That maybe we'll meet up with them in the final game, and we'll be the ones celebrating at the end.
That's right. You were at the Garden earlier this year, Coach. I saw you as that buzzer sounded. There was some emotion of, yes, I got this, right?
Well, there's always emotions when you win, and especially there. I've had so many great memories there and so many great victories there. So there's always a lot of joy.
Okay, you know me because we talked over the summer, and I like to eat. So When you get done with a late night game and you get home and you're kind of hungry, like I would be, what are you pulling on the refrigerator or the pantry? I mean, I got to ask you.
It all depends on what's in there. I'm Jamaican. I love to eat Jamaican food, so there might be some Jamaican leftovers. So I might pull that out, stick it in the microwave, and chow down on that.
Coach Ewing. Coach, I'll leave you with this. When you think Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, what comes to mind?
I've had so many great memories there. We've won so many of them when I was there. So I'm hoping that, we can turn back the clock and we'll be there cutting down the nets once again. A Georgetown win that will help propel us into the NCAAs.
They've turned back the clock to build for the future. It's Patrick Ewing, the Georgetown head coach. Coach, thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
This is where the heart is. Players turning the stars and shine as enormous, as bright as the light you see in the garden. Best experience come from the Big East tournament. March to MSG where we born to be victorious. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely victorious.
The Big East Tournament at Madison Square Garden. Get tickets now.
Popular promotion of the year, Big East Scavenger Hunt presented by Sunkist. Your opportunity to be in attendance for the Big East Tournament at Madison Square Garden.
Who will be victorious next week around New York City, as we will be at random locations in the area. Follow at Big East MBB for clues on each day's location. And again, use the hashtag GetMeToMSG. Use the hashtag BETourney, and of course, the hashtag March to MSG. March 7th to the 10th. The scavenger hunt is the thing to be doing next week in New York City.
Who will be victorious? You're killing me.
On the script here, folks, it said, our producer goes, John, do the read. Jay Alter just took the car and said, I had the victorious ready to go.
That was so
right.
good.
What do we got here? We have CBS Sports' Matt Norlander, one of the best in college basketball reporting. Jay Alter caught up with him to talk Big East Hoop storylines.
We are consumed with Big East basketball every single day, so to give us a little bit of a national perspective, we bring in CBS Sports' Matt Norlander, the Shootaround. Matt, thanks for joining us. I want to get right into the NCAA tournament discussion. As you look at the top teams in the nation, what are the odds that both Villanova and Xavier could end up on that 1 seed line?
I think there's a good shot, but I think Xavier is going to have to for sure get to the title game in the Big East and might need to win it. I can see a situation in which if Xavier made the title game, lost to Villanova, took 3 of its L's to the Wildcats, if there was enough noise around the Musketeers on that one line, they might be dropped to the top 2, which, by the way, wouldn't be the worst thing. If that happened in that scenario, I can almost guarantee you Xavier would be sent back to Omaha. You'll recall they had a nice game out there against the Blue Jays, and they'd be the number 1 ranked 2 seed in the country, and that wouldn't be the worst thing in terms of geography. But if we want to see the Big East get 2 number 1 seeds, I think Xavier's going to have to win the Big East tournament to do so.
I'll tell you what, I think Musketeer fans would be very happy with the 2 seed and the trip to Omaha for their first ever Final Four trip on the line. We'll see how it shakes out. Want to talk Player of the Year discussion with you. Do you think Villanova's Jalen Brunson or Xavier's Trayvon Blewett could make a case in these last couple of weeks and actually win Player of the Year?
I'm glad you brought up Trayvon Blewett because, listen, to me right now, Trae Young is still the National Player of the Year. If the season ended literally after we finished doing this segment, I had to log my vote, it would be Trae Young. I understand Oklahoma's in a swoon, but I think Brunson's coming up right on him, fairly close. And how about Blewett? Blewett's averaging 20 points a game, shooting 44% from 3. And if you've watched Xavier play, they've got a nice roster, but Blewett is the kind of late-game go-to performer that I think is going to help him. So let's not just assume that it's going to automatically be Brunson. I think Blewett is very much in the mix here. Over the next 3 weeks, all of these games are going to count, and any one of them could, I think, potentially steal Player of the Year.
And you're high on a couple of individuals in the Big East. We looked on Twitter. You posted your NCAA All-Star team that you picked with Gary Parrish, and you had 4 guys. You mentioned Brunson and Blewett, but also Marcus Foster, Angel Delgado. Does the Big East help individuals also get a ton of exposure with how competitive it is night in and night out?
It does, and that team you're referencing is Parrish and I on our podcast drafted all-star teams like the LeBron and Steph Curry did, and it just so happened that with the way that it played out, Foster's been great. Should be getting more love nationally, frankly. I would suspect at least 3 Big East players will be voted among what's in effect the top 15 players in the country when we get to the middle of March.
And you think that name right now would be Marcus Foster?
I do, as long as I do. If Creighton can right itself and get a few more wins, make a Big East run to the title game, maybe even just the semifinals, and Foster plays well, he'll have a shot at 13 All-American. There's no doubt about it. He's played very, very well over the past 2 months.
I want to talk to you about Twitter as it relates to the NCAA tournament. Is there anything more fragile than college basketball Twitter psyche after their team loses a game in February?
Man, I'm glad you brought this up because, listen, that's part of the fun of it, but I've always liked college basketball because it doesn't overreact the way college football fans tend to do and NFL fans tend to do. Seeding is on the line, and I know that the NCAA tournament coaches will tell you it's so much about matchups. They are more concerned with what team they'll be faced against in the first round and then what team they could face in the round of 32. But if you look at the statistics, seeding matters. I do think that the 4 others that you mentioned and you add in Marquette, those 5 teams, they still have a wide variety of being out of the tournament to, in the case of some of these teams, they're still going to be pushing and striving. If they can make big runs, 5 seed, 4 seed certainly on the line. So there's plenty to be determined here in February, and that's what makes it so fun. This is already my favorite time of year. March is great, but we're in the thick of it now, and there's plenty on the line.
All right, he's Matt Norlander from CBS Sports. Matt, we really appreciate the perspective. Thanks for joining us on Shootaround.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Follow at Matt Norlander on Twitter for full coverage throughout the NCAA tournament as well. As many as 7 Big East teams in the NCAA tournament conversation, and they're in action on a jam-packed Saturday.
The Mecca, Seton Hall at St. John's, Fox broadcast channel. Gus Johnson on the call, noon Saturday. I'll be locked into that one.
It'll be fascinating to see what the Creighton Blue Jays do as well on Saturday, hosting number 3 Villanova. The Jays have lost their last 3 Big East games. Greg McDermott was talking about it. They've got to be better on the defensive end of the floor, and then they do host DePaul. So a crucial swing here down the stretch.
And we spoke to Patrick Ewing earlier on Shootaround. Providence and Marquette, 2 home games. Patrick Ewing and this Hoyas team have an opportunity to move out of the bottom 4 and avoid playing in that Wednesday. I mean, it is possible. And what a performance that would be in conference play for Georgetown if they could climb out of the bottom 4 and enter the top 6.
Just one more show before our live coverage from the world's most famous arena during Big East Tournament Week. We are back next Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be talking you through what you might expect for postseason awards, NCAA tournament talk, your favorite Big East Tournament memories. We're going to ask you for them next week before we are live from the Garden throughout Big East Tournament Week. More on that coverage to come. And look out for us in New York City next week for the scavenger hunt.
Who will be victorious?
He's just stealing my lines now. Enjoy the games this weekend. Don't slip.